gotta make it out to Vegas, where the lights shine bright. Vegas, in the clear desert night. Vegas, where they can make you a star. Vegas, at the NFR.
NFR Extra is a podcast dedicated to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons and personalities that embody the Western lifestyle.
You know, once I quit rodeoing, all of that kind of went away. Music gave it back to me, gave that sport that I cared so much about, that gave so much to me. I'm getting to give back because of who I am in the industry, in the scene. We're getting to play NFR. We're getting to go to these big pro rodeos and all this. And I'm still getting to interact with all of my heroes that I can call friends now.
This is pro rodeo announcer Andy Seiler, and you are listening to NFR Extra.
Friends, we are back, NFR Extra, and we are joined by Houston, Texas singer-songwriter, cowboy, Mr. Josh Ward. Josh, how's it going?
Doing good, bro. How are y'all doing?
Doing outstanding, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I mean, born and raised in Houston, Texas, lived in East Texas majority of my life, and grew up, you know, singing in church choir, and kind of I guess you would say a normal kid that had to work a lot.
That was normal back in the day.
Normal was just hard work. You got up and you worked your butt off every day, you know, whether it be painting fence or helping in hayfield or, you know, whatever chore was needed to be done. I grew up and made it through high school. Obviously, high school rodeo was Region 9, and got in the oil field right after high school, and started going after it. And soon after that, in between rodeoing and just trying to make a living in the oil field, I started playing music, and it was something that took me to another place. I really enjoyed doing it. And 2011, I took a short break just to figure out what music was, and got on a hitch up in North Dakota that never did go through. So I came back home and started playing music.
That's a little easier than the oil field work.
Well, they go hand in hand. I mean, the music industry is a very fickle business, but it's all in what you want, all in what you make it out to be too. I mean, I've made a dang good living for the past, 18, 20 years, playing music. And made it a whole lot farther than what I thought it would. If you'd asked me, 15 years ago, do you think I'd be sitting in the spot that I am now? I would have told you no, because, it was very hard, just keeping bands busy, keeping, staying on the road, and then all the other things that come with the music business. But I mean, as far as, the oil field life, it paid good. It was rough on the body, just like rodeoing was. And
sure.
I kind of picked a different profession, that was a little easier on the body, as I thought. But it can take a toll on you for sure. But, after years of doing it, you figure out what works best for you, how to stay healthy on the road and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty easy life for the most part. Just, the music industry still comes with some hard knocks, so, as with anything, basically I'm looking at playing music for a living is almost like competing in any rodeo event. You got to go out there and you got to mash on it as hard as you can, and no one's going to give anything to you in this life. So the harder you work, the more that you focus on your on your craft, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
What events did you compete in growing up?
I rode bareback horses.
Okay.
I started riding saddle bronc and never could get my timing down. I loved to ride them, but man, I didn't look good doing it. So, all through high school, we started out, we were riding steers, moved up to junior bulls and then senior bulls. And then, obviously open after that. But, tried to do a little bit of everything in that rough stock event. To be honest with you, I mean, I was a poor East Texas kid. I couldn't afford the roping horses. I couldn't afford the rigs to pull them down the road. And all I had to worry about was a rigging bag and meat, so, and I had every opportunity as a young man, my hauling partners, our friends that we surrounded ourselves with. I mean, all of their dads, they calf roped, they team roped, and had every opportunity to, get on good horses and rope and all that. I just knew that I couldn't afford it myself. So, the rough stock end of it, that's the path that I chose to go down.
Kind of a glutton for punishment, it sounds like, from bareback horses.
Man, I'm telling you, I was telling my girlfriend here, Kayla, that, all the years of me running up and down the road and beating my body up, the old man tells you all the time, hey man, if I'd have treated my body a little bit better, if I'd only listened back then, well, it's catching up now.
Right. Right.
It ain't the years, it's the miles.
About 35, it started catching up, and I was like, man, I treated my body like a punching bag.
Right. Yeah. All of a sudden, you sleep on your pillow wrong, your neck goes out nowadays, and yeah,
that's where we're at now. But you know what? I rode hard. I tried to grit through everything. Riding injured, I never did give myself enough time to heal up.
Right.
And back then, you really never heard about that. You got over your ailment, whatever it might be, a broke rib, broke arm, full grown, whatever, you got through it, and then you moved on. And now that we hear in the sport, which has grown so much, it's so much bigger than it used to be whenever I was riding. You start to hear about, controlling yourself, taking care of yourself, managing yourself. And, we're going into a social media world that we're living in now. And it's kind of like, dadgum, I never had any of those outlets whenever I was doing it. It's turned into a full-blown business now. So I wished that whenever I was rodeoing, it was like it is now, because there's a whole lot more outlets that you can go to within the sport, within the industry.
Right. Well, it's crazy too, and we've had this conversation earlier on, but what rodeo was 20, 25, 30 plus years ago, whatever, is, the guys that worked out were the anomalies. Those were the ones, there's one or two guys, Jason Jeter was a gym rat back in the day. And now, especially, all of the events, even in the steer wrestling, everything, like if you're not working out and in peak physical condition, taking care of yourself, you look at the recovery deal, like you were talking about, like these guys spend money on getting better, and that is a full-time job. And so it's not just, put a dart in your mouth and, put your hand in the rig and nod your head and see at the beer garden afterwards. It's changed a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you know what? Thank the good Lord for, Justin and Doc Tandy and all those guys that are out there, that are involved in these sports, that have taught that to these guys. Hey, you've got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
If you're going to stay healthy, you've got to be in the gym. You've got to build your core back up. Any of these things, you've got somebody actually telling you, hey, you're not going to ride tonight because you're not well enough.
Right.
So it's great that we have that now. And I know that, that we're here to talk about music and rodeo and all together, but it's still fun to talk about the old rodeo times, and things that we wish we'd have known then.
Yeah. Well, how did that, that's got to have obviously a pretty major influence on, the switch over for the music side. So, how's that incorporated for your songwriting, for everything?
It does, man. The miles, the memory, going back to, beating your body up, and, the all the wish hads and what ifs and all this. I wouldn't have traded anything for any amount of money in the world of the times that I had rodeoing. Right. And what taught me about the music side through that rodeo was getting down, like I've always said. I mean, my motto has always been all grit, no quit. And it's from the oil field to the rodeo to the music. It spilled over. It's that drive. It's that work ethic that keeps you driven. No matter how many times you get hit upside the head, you don't quit. If you want something bad enough, you go to it. And when you go to it, make sure that you're there. And you know, that's the whole thing. I traded a rigging bag for a guitar, you know, and I still get to travel up and down the road with some of my best friends in my life, you know, same way as hauling up and down the road with your rodeo partners. You know, we get to do these shows. We get to do these performances in front of these crowds. You know, the roar of the crowd is still there, you know, to get to interact with people, you know, I mean, you're the soundtrack to these people's lives.
That's a great way to put it.
If you don't go out there and put your heart and soul into everything that you do, every word that comes out of your mouth, every lyric that you write down on a piece of paper, how are you going to make them believe it? If you don't push that hard, if you don't have that somebody looking at you from the outside going, that guy's good. That guy's going to get it because he's working his butt off. He's trying. It is the same thing as it is in the sport of rodeo. Yeah. You can't have any backup. You got to get a gut full of gravel and get on down the road and go get it. But now you have tools to go do it. That makes it a little easier these days.
Trying to succeed in the rodeo world, it's a lot like music too, because you have to go to some of these smaller venues to, whether you're making a name for yourself or if you're on the athlete side, you're trying to get qualifications to go to bigger events. I mean, you know, whether you're playing music or you're a rodeo announcer like Steve and myself, I mean, everybody forgets about the rodeos you did 20 years ago when there were 115 people in the stands, and you're trying to make this entertaining for those 100 people that paid for a ticket to come and watch the rodeo. And it's the same thing playing in smaller bars when you're starting out your music career too, correct?
Exactly. Everything is the same. And, you know, as far as the announcer side of things, you know, we've been fortunate enough to be around Bobby T and, you know, throughout the years of the way that my music has grown. I've got to meet all of my heroes, the rodeo announcers, the barrel men, the pro guys, all these guys that I thought that I was going to go somewhere and do. You know, once I quit rodeoing, all of that kind of went away. Music gave it back to me, gave that sport that I cared so much about, that gave so much to me. I'm getting to give back because of, and I'm not being boastful or anything, but of who I am in the industry, in the scene. We're getting to play NFR. We're getting to go to these big pro rodeos and all this. And I'm still getting to interact with all of my heroes, all of our, that I can call friends now. But going to the announcer spot, I want to really hit on that if we got time.
Sure.
You were talking about performance. I've talked to all of them, you know, Garrett, Brad, Bobby T, all of them. What you are doing within that 90 minutes, you're putting a show on for these people. You are the one that's continuing to make the wheels move in that forward motion. You are, how could I say it? You are orchestrating this show. There's so many moving parts, but it starts with, obviously, in the back pen. They show up. They do their job. You're in the announcer stand. You are the voice. Any announcer is putting on a show because you are the voice of that individual fixing to make a run, fixing to make a ride, fixing to do all these things. Y'all orchestrate. It's just like me. You have to make 350 people to 3,000 people believe every word that's coming out of your mouth. They're artists.
Well, and the other thing too that I try to remind myself is anytime I turn on a microphone, why is what's happening in front of me and why is what I'm saying mattering to the audience that is sitting in the stands? You know, I mean, why does this moment matter? That's my job, is to relay that message to the audience.
Yes. And without the announcer, I don't want to break it down as far as numbers because I don't know that number and I don't want to be dishonest about it. But there's a percentage of people that's in those crowds that's never been to a rodeo.
Sure.
They ain't never seen a buck. They ain't never seen anything like that. What would it be to go watch that and not have that the vocalization, the person that's telling you they're having a learning experience. You're actually teaching a lesson to that person that did not know anything about this sport. This is why, this is how, and it's amazing. If people would only break it down and look at how that rodeo, whether it be a pro rodeo, whether it be a mom and pop backyard buckout, everything has to be run fluid. And it wasn't until I got into being able to play, you know, the PBR finals, the national finals. It wasn't until we got into that to where we actually seen the mechanicals, the working machine behind the scenes of how this thing, how it goes off. And a lot of times, there's not cameras. It's not the grand finale every single night. So when you guys talk about putting on a show, explaining to these people what happens, me putting on a show, you've got to dig down somewhere in you yourself. You've been on the road this many days. You're tired. We're showing up. We might have a slack crowd. You still have to have that energy to put forth. That way you make them believe it. I have to do it every night that I step on stage. It's the same show.
Somebody bought a ticket. They spent
Somebody
their money.
bought a
Yeah,
ticket.
They spent their money. It's yeah.
Let's take a quick pause, and we'll be right back. Want to relive the best NFR moments from the last 39 years? We've got you covered at NFRExperience.com. Check out the NFR History tab at the website for a walk, or should we say gallop, down memory lane. You'll find images, recaps, and videos from the greatest moments from the last 39 years in Las Vegas. From Ty Murray to Trevor Brazil, Louis Field to Casey, Charmaine James to Mary Berger, Fred Whitfield to Joe Beaver, and everything in between. You'll find it here. There's something for all rodeo fans. Check it out at NFRExperience.com. 40 years in Vegas, the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo.
It's kind of interesting what you're saying too, and that is, you know, a lot of these rodeos that you do, they're at destination spots, and there is a fair amount of, you know, of tourists that come that aren't well versed in the sport of rodeo. That you got to educate them and entertain them. But it seems like right now, and this is just maybe my perception, but it seems like the interest in Western culture, be it on, you know, a TV show, be it music, be it rodeo, it seems to be kind of a wave of new interest from people that aren't necessarily just the regular old diehards. Like, you're kind of finding that cowboy culture pretty interesting. Do you see that at all?
We see it every day. And, you know, I didn't grow up being a cowboy. When I was a kid, no, we didn't work cows. We didn't go do those things. I get into cowboying later on in life. Rodeo, there's a difference in between cowboying and rodeoing. And, you know, my thing is like, I've always wore boots. I've always wore my jeans. I've always wore my hat. And I don't know any different. That's just who I am. Do I think, and you said it yourself, do I think the TV shows have brought to light the Western heritage, the cowboy image For sure, yes, it has. Back in the day, we used to call it playing dress up. And here's the deal. I mean, love me or hate me, I am who I am, and if you ask me about it, I'll tell you. For the most part, I just keep my mouth shut about it. But you know what? It's just like country music right now. The effect that it's having on the music industry, same way it's having in the rodeo industry. If it is bringing to light, if it is bringing more tickets, if it's bringing this audience that's so intrigued about that way of life, I'm fine with it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we were talking about this the other day. It's so true because, some people are, oh, well, Beyonce's not country. I get it. But you know who's not complaining? The hat and boot companies, because you got a brand new demographic of people that are buying hats and boots.
If your demographic, I'm not saying be fake.
Right,
that's,
correct.
That's something I ain't never do. I ain't never been able to be something that I ain't. But on the monetary side of things, the media side of things, I mean, all of these things go hand in hand with both of them. Yes, we are catering to a different demographic that wants to be a part. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
So you take, Taylor and them with Yellowstone and all the TV shows and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I've been around $100,000 horses. I've been around, guys that can get down with a get down. Yes, it's a TV show. It's fabricated, but they had to have those guys in the stock to come in to be able to put that on.
No, that's spot on.
So I got to ask you this. I don't know.
Sorry.
No, it's all right because because we watched the, you can pick that apart with, certain things to, okay. Now the funny part is like landman, for instance, like I'm not an oil guy, never worked in the oil field. Was that kind of like watching Landman? Was that, I was, oh man, that's cool. And anybody's probably ever worked in the oil field is like, you gotta be kidding me. It was entertaining. It was great.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But majority of it's wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to tell Taylor how to script a movie. I mean, he's pretty dang good at what he does.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good for himself, but man, I just if you want to, be into the sport. I mean, I've seen people come from no cowboy background, no rodeo background, none of that, and come watch the show. Come to a rodeo. They absolutely enjoy it. If you get enjoyment out of it, you want to put your boots and your hat on, by God, go do it. If you want to go get all razzed out for NFR, hey, to each his own, go do it. I'm not. I'm going to put on my old scuffed up, roughed out boots and my blue jeans, and probably won't even walk into the show with my best hat on because I think it's just too clean.
Yeah.
So, all in a nutshell, yes, it all goes hand in hand. I try every single day for my audience, anyone that I come in contact with, I mean, I try to be the same me. I don't know how to be any different. And, sometimes if you really want to know my real answer, I mean, I think I'm getting to be like the old man sitting on the front porch. If you don't want to know, don't ask.
Well, I think you're talking about your scuffed up boots and your old hat. That to me transitions into your new album perfectly. I mean, the title of it, Same Old Cowboy, Different Rodeo. So tell us about your new music.
That is so true. I mean, last year, last couple of years, to lead up to that record. That record's 4 years in the making. Unfortunately, we had the run-in with COVID that, shut the world down for a while, and I had to pull back on the reins and putting it out. And finally, we got to go back to work. So we got back to work on the record, and then the horse accident happened. And we really I struggled with that one. I didn't even know if I was going to come back and be able to play music. Matter of fact, that's what they told me. The day that I woke up was, I asked them, when do I get out of here? When can I get back on the road? When can I get back on a horse? And the doc looked at me and he said, son, I don't know if you're going to go back to what you were doing, much less get on the back of a horse. And, when somebody tells me that I can't, and I know it sounds cliche, there's a bunch of tough guys out there that'll tell you the same thing, but there's something in my body, in my mind, and in my heart that when you tell me I can't or I won't, those are words that are not even in my vocabulary. And all it does is push me to prove whoever that person is wrong. So we get back on the road 2 months after my wreck, and it was tough. I mean, I still deal with stuff to this day. They cut a foot of small intestine out of me. But that drive, that you're not going to be able to go back and do this, it drove me to put out this record the way that it is in its entirety. I mean, if you want to talk about blood, sweat, tears, right down to, do I still believe in myself enough to do this? Like, I had to dig deep to write the songs for the record, to put the record out. And whenever the Same Old Cowboy, Different Rodeo came up, that song was written by Wyatt McCubbin and Jake Worthington. This song was written 4.5 years ago. I heard this song when they done it, and I fell in love with it. I never knew that I was going to end up with this song until the last part of the record. Jake sent me an email. That song was on there, and I said, it is so fitting for the title track of this record. Same Old Cowboy, Different Rodeo. No, am I blowing and going down the road rodeoing anymore? No. I mean, I've actually slowed down a lot on the competing side to focus on my music side. And to be honest with you, I mean, country music is on a hot streak right now. The same thing that I've been doing for the last 20 years has finally became the in thing. And it kind of touches on what we were talking about before. Hat, boots, all these things. That demographic coming, learning about that new show. So, yes, all of that, all grit, no quit. I mean, your drive, all of these things. That's what went into that record.
Well, we look forward to hearing even more from you, Josh, and your story is truly an inspiration. So congratulations on the success you've had, and we can't wait to hear even more.
Dude, man, we're already writing songs for the next record to come out. Hopefully here in another 18 months. But man, all that I can say is I'm glad that I got to do this with you guys today, because y'all asked the questions that I've been wanting to be asked for a while. What's it like? All these things. What is the real life part of what goes on behind the scenes, and pulling from 3 different lifestyles: oil field, rodeo, and music. I mean, they all go hand in hand, because they all have this thing that people want. The excitement, the drive, whatever you might want to call it, that people feed on. That's what they're wanting to get fed right now, and this is what we have. And we have a platform and an audience to deliver it to.
That's awesome, man. And again, we really appreciate your time, and can't wait for the album and see you back in Las Vegas one more time, buddy.
Let's go get it next year, boys. I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all so much. Y'all need anything else, holler back.
Thank
you, Josh. Appreciate you, man.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.